Yeah. Came out the portal, immortal into a human body. I've been existing way before the earth had Anunnakis. Intergalactical battles, intergalactical travels, infinitely going through stars. The universe will unravel all of its secrets, peep it. I'm starting to leak it. Time for truth is coming 100, it's time to seek it. Expanding my perception through the spectrum of light. I'm going in with spectrum and the shit's out of sight. We indigo children, yeah, we building frequencies through the ceiling. Penetrating through reality, a marvelous feeling. Regardless, we're healing these humans that be claiming we demonic. The resonance goes over their heads, we super cosmic. Your logic is ignorance mixed with fear in your thinking. My pineal gland is flooding, son, that shit don't be blinking. Sinking into your subconscious like a song with no words. The way I come up with these symbols of letters is absurd. Hey yo, my rhymes are like angelic beings. The shit is freeing, so pure that if you were born blind, I'll have you seeing. Breathing in a multi-dimensional light so captivating. Double helix is nonsense, so what I'm activating. Feel the power from within, seeping right through my skin. From the earth into my feet as it goes up to my chin. It got me grinning, rotation like spirals, my music spinning. I told you that I don't be playing, still I'm always winning. Fibonacci to the haters, curve them right to the side. They don't understand the energy, it comes from inside. So inside is what I master, used to be a disaster. Now I'm gladly elevating to a whole new chapter. Yeah, I'm giving birth to a whole new style. I incarnated through New York, yeah, I read Long Isle. Don't get it twisted though, I'm truly repping this earth. I came to free all these humans and show you all what you're worth. Immortal. Yeah, raising your frequencies one soul at a time. As I pass this mic to my boy Spectrum, yo Spectrum, light that up, kid.
They tried to tell me I'm mortal, I told them I was immortal. They asked me what makes me different, I asked them what makes you normal. I just followed my morals and I unfollowed the formal. Hopped on a track with crews, now we straight cruising through portals. I download the Metatron, I'm reversing it till I'm dead and gone. If you think I'm dope, then you said it wrong. Not trying to flex, but I'm hella strong. Mine did things you never seen. When I say mine, you know what I mean. I'm the most when I'm in my mode, and y'all average is like the mean. I really didn't mean to go intervene. I'm the middleman chilling in between. You should do the math, we ain't keeping score. But I just hit a 3.14. I cook it up, make it look easy as pie. I'm moving in silence and seeing the sign. I am the G. If you remove me, all you gon' see is your sins. This is a big game of sins. The simulation is breaking again. I'm taking control, creating my soul. And if the truth fits, I'm breaking it in. Breaking it. All I really know is that I'll never know. I've been here for forever, don't know when to go. I think that indicates that I'm an indigo. In that case, I'm in the go. Green light, my heart, chakra booming. Solar plexus, Lexus zooming. You assuming that I'm human. I'm just being what you doing. I've been teaching teachers frequently. It's apparent I'm a parent when it comes to raising frequencies. The way I'm living life, I haven't rest in peace recently. Immortal with my technique, but my ego dying easily. Death is teasing me by leaving me with DMT. Now it seems to me that everything I see is seeing me. Life is just an infinite circle with a twist. I used to wanna be like them, now they do not exist.
Immortal.
Peace and wholeness to space. Welcome to the Melanated Immortals, making evolutionary changes, aligning with the evolving cycles of time, knowledge, empowerment section. Y'all please indicate in the chat that you're able to hear my voice pretty okay. I would greatly appreciate it. Today's session is about, is your will abundant? And we are on the yellow planetary human Kiin number 192. We're here every single Friday dawning, which is Celio, at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, I don't have any confirmations yet. Let me know if y'all hear me in the chat. We have today hosting the session yours truly, Priestess Mutmayad. We have bringing our oracle reading, Priestess Initiate, Moon Goddess Ambrosia, and none other than our very own I Am Makaru. Amen. It's going to facilitate our message, our word for this plasma. Ashe. Ashe and Asheo. All right. Let's go ahead and get the party started. All right. I hope that means that y'all are hearing my voice okay. And that I got some feedback in the chat. Slightly choppy. Uh, so sorry. I get that part. It's slightly choppy, but at this moment in time, due to circumstances, I'm traveling. So let me see if I can take off my Bluetooth instead. Italy, y'all might have some. Might be some bad. I want y'all to tell me if this is better. You just might have a little background sound with it, but hopefully you can hear me better now. Y'all let me know if that's good. Mm, much, much better. Give thanks. Give thanks. All right. Let's keep the show on the road. Literally, the show is on the road. I'm Priestess Mutmayat Nefer Habibullah, like I stated before, and I'm Kin 178, the White Solar Mirror. I pulse in order to reflect, realize in order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the solar tone of intention, and I am guided by the power of timelessness. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. So we will now have the reading of the prayer of the seven galactic directions. From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruit of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunapku Evam Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunapku Evam Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunapku Evam Maya E Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and of nature. We are melanated immortals making evolutionary changes, and our mission is to shift the global consciousness of the melanin dominant population and establish an everlasting legacy of divine frequency beings with immortal health and immortal wealth through the application and the remembrance of cosmic knowledge. During this night wave spell of the 260-day sacred cycle, we are on Kin 192, the yellow planetary human. This destiny oracle or destiny cross, we like to call it, is actually revealing to us a deeper design within our galactic signature. And each and every one of us are creators of another. Ashe. So for Kin 192, we want to just take focus to know that right now in this plasma, we are in perfect abundance. The wisdom to influence through free will and manifestation is what we're pulling out within this plasma. So at the top, we have our guide, which is Kin 140 to uh, the Kim 140 is the planetary sun, which is also the enlightened one. We have on the right our physical planetary body, which is Kin 127, the blue planetary hand, the avatar, also known as that, supporting us with healing and accomplishment. On the left side, we have our mental challenge, which is also called our gift in and of the same. Kin number 62, the white planetary wind, and then, which is also our high priestess. Then we have refining us, or I'm sorry, at the bottom, our emotional body, okay, which is sometimes called our hidden power. Kin number 69, the red self existing moon, our healer in and of the same. So let's read this signature 3 times to seal and imprint it in our hearts and our minds. The last line, we're going to save it to the third time. The first three, the first two, we're going to do I, and then we're going to do you, and then we're going to come together and make it a we. Let's do it. I perfect in order to influence. Producing wisdom. I seal the process of free will with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of universal fire. You perfect in order to influence. Producing wisdom. You still the process of free will with the planetary tone of manifestation, and you are guided by the power of universal fire. Now let's bring it all in as a collective. We perfect in order to influence, producing wisdom. We still the process of free will with the planetary tone of manifestation, and we are guided by the power of universal fire. Why? Because we are a galactic activation portal, guided by the power of universal fire through the planetary tone of manifestation with the process of free will, producing wisdom in order to influence. Enter us. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. During this night wave spell, we have 13 wholeness plasmas that we're going to be going through. And what this does is it helps us to understand our sacred movement through a 13-day or 13 plasma living journey of purpose, of challenge, as you follow along from the the blue magnetic night. We got our purpose, we have our challenge with the seed, we have our service with the serpent, we have our form with the self-existing world bridger, we have what we're commanding and putting into place, our oops, my bad, sorry, let me go back to that. We have the overtone, forgive me for that, the overtone, um, bringing us balance, command. And then for the star, we have the rhythmic star here with our balance. Then our attunement with the resonant moon. The dog is bringing us integrity as a galactic. Then the solar bringing us our action throughout this wave spell with the monkey. And then today, manifestation, as you heard in the previous signature, is our planetary human. And then we're going to be releasing with the Skywalker, the spectral Skywalker. Then cooperation comes in with our crystal wizard. And then after that, our cosmic flight all through the skies with the eagle, the cosmic eagle. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. So now we have our Zolkin calendar, okay? And with this, our Zolkin is speaking to us through um the we have it here 1320 plasma sacred cycle that we go through 260 plasmas of the creation, the creator. And you see where that black square is, that represents the point, and the point where we are within this sacred cycle, right? And if you notice also, it is green as opposed to you seeing the blue, the white, the yellow, and the red. That green signifies that we are on a portal kin, like we read in the signature. So this sacred solar cycle, right? It consists of 20 archetype seals, starting with the dragon all the way down to the sun, and then 13 tones, galactic tones that we've all flowed through throughout our lifespan over this 260-day cycle. So just making sure that on these galactic portal kin, okay, this is where a lot of things are opening up for us, and we're able to map out, our life 360. We're able to take things to a whole nother level. So make sure you're setting your intentions. Make sure you're keeping your whole mind, your from your root all the way up to your crown chakras, clear, allowing your spirit to just move freely through, especially on this plasma. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. Then we have our 28-day sacred calendar that we're also able to move through. Mind y'all, cosmology goes on so many different levels, like level on top of level on top of level on top of level. And we have four what we call heptads that we move through, okay? We have the red heptad, we have the white heptad, the blue, and the yellow. This heptad, which you'll see here where the blue square is, transforming and conduct plasma. Ashe. On this plasma, this portal kin, you see that double helix that's also indicated in that square. That lets you know if ever you access this calendar where you see that double helix, it signifies that it's a portal kin. Okay. So during these four heptads, the first one, we're initiating, the second one, we're refining everything that we're putting into place. And then now we're taking all those things that we've been working on, the previous um, 20 plasmas, and through completing our transformation. And then next heptad, we go into ripening everything, like harvesting everything that we put into place. Also noticing on this, we reason why we don't say days and we go through the plasmas is because we're also acknowledging that Dali, Sealy, Gamma, Cali, Alpha, Limi, and Celio represents our radioplasmas. Also the chakras that we flow through, our energy flow through on a regular basis. So y'all keep all that in mind as you're going through this sacred 28-day uh we say 28 plasma calendar, okay? But also, I want to bring to your attention the question that we're asking each other this month is this moon. This moon is, I say, I need to maximize this so that I can see the top. How can I dedicate myself to all that lives? Ashe. So keep that question in mind as you go through each heptad, viewing it, meditating on it, conducting it, or watching your conduct in and through it, and then ripening through that thing. Okay? Give thanks for that. So we have our creed for this plasma. I'm going to go ahead and read that out for us. This is the yellow human archetype, which is also seal number 12, known as the sage. I am the sage, coded by the yellow human. 12 is my number, perfect order and root of the mystic 144, the perfection of the human temple. Benevolent, kind, and wondrous. I am the wise one, the judge and discriminator. I have mastered the seven centers and perfected the laws of eternal and internal forces. Higher mind control is the power of my influences. In my right hand, I hold the double terminated crystal of equalizing skillful leans. In my left hand, I hold the crystal ball of universally imparted wisdom and clear seeing. My way is spontaneous conduct, free from fabrication. I am the blueprint of the purified solar human. I speak with the voice of the noosphere, announcing the return of all things good. To know me is to know thyself. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. Ooh, my. That had a lot of heavy in it. So if anything resonated with you, I would say set some intentions or put some focus on it. This plasma, raise the vibrations and the frequencies within as you go throughout sage, as you go throughout human. So now we'll prepare ourselves, get your pens and your papers out, take notes. We got some new announcements and we got some current announcements and some future announcements you might want to take heed to. So y'all join in the announcements. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo.
Awake, I am today. Daily acknowledges the act of God empowering me to breathe. Today represents more time to live, move, and have my being. Amazing I am shows the wonders of light shining on my face. Healed from afflictions, distractions, and manipulations of this world. Wise I am today to see the truth at face value and walk with confidence, knowing.
Habitats of weeds, daily supplies. Habitats of weeds, daily supplies. Daily
All right, all right. Much gratitude. Hopefully, y'all took your notes, took heed to those announcements. We're going to move forward with where we are. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. Now, I'm going to bring up none other than our presenter of the oracle reading for this plasma, Priestess Initiate, Kin 181, the red crystal dragon, moon goddess Ambrosia. Goddess, you ready? Come on through.
Peace, peace, peace,
Peace,
wholeness, and
peace.
divine blessings, everybody.
Ashe, you're being heard. Give thanks.
Ashe. Gratitude, Priestess Moot, for getting us started for this plasma. I love, of course, as always, I appreciate everything that you do. It was some dope things that you mentioned when you were going over the information, like when you was talking about how the Destiny Oracle is a deeper design into, give us insight into the deeper design of who we are as we embody our kin. And it was something else you had said as you were going through each health tag. You were mentioning about that going through that transformation. So I appreciate you for dropping those gems and sharing your frequency and insights on where we are in the cycles. And peace and grand rising to everybody here in the space. Definitely thankful and glad to have you all here tapping in and really finding yourself in alignment with the mission that we have through Mimic. Appreciation for High Priestess for setting the stage. Her and Baba Neb Taharka, Baba Wanique, they definitely have shown their dedication to, the mission. And, we are adding on to that. So much love and gratitude to all of us. And so, yes, I am honored as always to come and share the Cosmic Oracle reading of Evolution for us on our Aligning with the Cycle sessions. And also shout out to Brother Akil as well, because, he definitely be holding it down with Aligning with the Cycle. So shout out and gratitude to you as well, Brother Akil. And so, yes. So, yeah, we're going to get into the Cosmic Oracle reading of Evolution. And so, I just want to give you a moment to grab a screenshot of this in case you want to reach out to me later or have any questions. Here's my contact information. And so, if y'all haven't already, make sure you got your pen and paper out because, well, actually, y'all should already be having that ready when we coming on for the session. So, make that y'all are ready to jump right on in because I am ready to tap in. And so, we're going to get into the mindset of a synchronaut, recognizing that we are divine energy. This life force energy we embody, it's what helps us to express our divinity. And so when we tap into the realization that we are living expressions of this energy, also connecting with our heart space, that divine heart and mind, we begin to recall and remember what our divine purpose is, like what we're here to create and, experience with through that embodiment. And so the more that we tap into that remembrance, we're also putting ourselves in a position to consciously create from that, instead of us just out here living. We want to tap into the fact that we are reflections of the reflections and the embodiment of of divine creation. We are divine creators. So I want to encourage us to use this plasma to shift our mindset, or to continue operating in that mindset of consciously creating so that we can fulfill our soul's mission. And so what's also dope about this is that we all have a soul mission. You know, it may be different in different ways. However, when we put it all together, it can help us to cultivate the shifts. You know, just like the mission that we have in Mimic, we can cultivate that fulfillment. And so, you know, this heptad, I'm encouraging us to get into our creative mindset and start thinking about ways that we can turn our power into fruit, because that will be the next heptad we'll be moving into. So let's get into the frequency by saying our personal galactic signatures, because remember, we are living expressions of our kins. You know, that's our specialty, although we embody all 260. So I want to invite you all to join me in stating your personal affirmation. You know, speak it out loud, really feel into the energy of the words, recognize what stands out for you. And, you know, I want this to become a practice for us, like every day, you know, to say your affirmation and tap in. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. So please join me by stating, as a living expression of, then say your kin number, its name, and move into your signature affirmation. Ashe, y'all ready? All right. So, as a living expression of Kin 181, the red crystal dragon, I dedicate in order to nurture universalizing being. I seal the input of birth with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of space. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. And so I'm just giving us a little moment here to breathe it all in, get it registered in our minds, lock it in, because that is what we are going to use to consciously create and fulfill our soul's mission. Ashe. All right. So we heard a little bit about the significance of the Destiny Oracle. It's a fifth dimensional template that helps us to sustain our cosmic synergy. So being that we are multidimensional beings, you know, we got to get all of these inner parts of us cooperating together, so we can also put ourselves in a position to cooperate with one another. Ashe? Because just think about it. You know, if you know, your energy feeling off, it'll be hard to, you know, operate with other people sometimes. So, you know, it's really important that we tap into our own personal destiny oracle and look at different ways we can, you know, make sure we're operating from a state of wholeness. You know, that's one of my personal missions with sharing the oracle readings, is for us to consciously operate in our whole state of being. You know, a lot of times we act from fragmentation, but you know, it's time for us to really bring all of that into alignment. Okay, so I am now just showing a closer view of where we are based on that oracle board, being that we are on the yellow human archetype. So in the Destiny Oracle, this is where you'll be able to, or excuse me, in the oracle board, this is where you're able to identify the different archetypes that may be that are a part of your destiny oracle. And so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but one thing I do want to add is that if you're looking on the left, you will notice that there is a blank box there, and the archetype that will sit in that position, which will be of the spirit guide, is dependent on the galactic tone of that particular archetype. So being that we're on a planetary tone, we have the yellow sun that's sitting in that position to guide us in holding the focus that Kin 192, the yellow planetary human, is bringing in for us to focus in on. Ashe? All right, so being that this is the basic template, all the positions will remain the same. So, you know, we heard Priestess Moot talk about the different points. You know, in the center, that's the soul. On the right, that's the physical body. Down below, that is the emotional body and then on the left, that is the mental body. And last but not least, the spirit guide sits right above the soul. Okay, so that's how you will be able to identify, each of the archetypes role within your destiny oracle. All right, so being that we are in this blue night wave spell, I like to look at these as the mission that we're focusing on, as we go through the 260 spin. So this is where we consider the divine abundance that we are creating or that is showing up in our life. Even the abundance that we are cultivating in our life, and that we get to experience with other people. One thing to make note of is that oftentimes we think of abundance as just financial means. However, we can recognize and cultivate abundance in many other ways too. So like we could cultivate it through our health, our wealth, our relationships, and even all the art and creations that we give birth to, as our soul's mission. And so with us being on the yellow planetary human, we can see its role in helping us cultivate this, because the whole goal is to operate from that mindset of the vision that we operate from, the mindset that helps us to create the visions, to make them real, to actually experience them. And so when we look at the breakdown of the yellow planetary human, we can see how we're being called to focus on this plasma when it comes to tapping in. So the whole point, this plasma, is to ripen the fruits, tap into our power. And, we want to see some maturation. We want to, this is the plasma where we get to, really see what we're, putting our energy into. And so with the sage, this is the tapping into our own power of free will that's being influenced by the wisdom that we've been gaining. So like if you were here on the last session of Aligning with the Cycles, we were talking about bonding with our instincts. So through us staying in connection with our instincts, paying attention to how we're, operating and stuff like that, through that we gain wisdom. We learn how to do things a lot differently. Like if you ain't been, if your life force been feeling kind of, lagging, like maybe you need to, get some rest type of thing. So boom, there go your wisdom, right? And so, when it comes to the abundance that we are cultivating, this plasma gives us that opportunity to perfect it. Not so much of it has to be perfect, but it's the perfecting process. It's like getting better and better and producing the visions that we have. And so when we take a more detailed look at the affirmation here, it helps us to recognize what we're focusing on today. So we're focusing on perfecting that divine abundance in order to influence our visions. And so that's what's going to help us to produce the wisdom. So as we continue to develop the skills, to develop in our abilities, that's what's creating that influence on our visions. Okay, so that's the main thing that we're focusing on, is producing that wisdom. And we're being guided by the yellow sun, which is basically us getting that inner spark, that inner motivation to, use the wisdom and turn it into, or embody it as our enlightenment, giving us that spark to our life to, to transform our dreams into these visions. And so this puts us at a good point to now look at the Destiny Oracle, because we know what we're focusing on today. Even looking at the planetary tone, like the question that comes with the planetary tone helps us to, lock in on that focus, because it's asking us, how do we perfect what we do? So if we, based on, because one thing I want to say, because I feel myself kind of like wanting to talk faster, or my thoughts are coming in faster than I'm speaking. So let me say this. Remember that we were bonding with our instinct throughout the last heptad, right? Or throughout this throughout this heptad. And so now it's getting into the perfecting of it. It's like, really taking our life force, the wisdom that we have been gaining from looking at the way that we operate. So now we want to perfect it, perfect how we're operating as divine beings on earth, right? And so with us having this focus on producing the wisdom, we're being guided to produce the wisdom that's going to bring that spark of light to our life. Okay. And that's that universal fire. We getting tapped into that inner fire to create the fruits now. Okay. We want to reap the fruits of the wisdom that we gain. Look, I don't know about y'all. I know at least for myself, like, I be getting a lot of downloads and insights. And, sometimes I'll be like, sometimes I can get caught up in the hype of the downloads that I don't do nothing with it, right? But now we're being encouraged to like actually produce something from that, right? And so, we can use this wave. We could use the Destiny Oracle to do that. And so, give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. All right, so I do want to ask a question. Hopefully some of you can, share your answers in the chat. But this, I just want to know, when it comes to getting to your end goal or something, how do you, like, what is your process? Does it help you to look at the end goal first, or do you start from where you are now? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get an idea because I know personally for me, if I know what vision I have in my mind, that helps me to now be able to create the different steps that builds up to that. But then also I recognize that sometimes I have to start from where I am now and recognize what that, it's like a full circle, because it could happen at any point of it. But I'm just curious, like, do you start more from the ground and build up, or do you like to do it back, like do it from the end and build down, if that makes sense? So if you can just share that in the chat for me, I appreciate it. But the reason that I was asking that is because the end goal of us focusing on producing that wisdom is so that we can command the loyalty and being true to our heart space, so that we can let go of, so that we can feel empowered to let go and move into the opportunity, so that we can reflect so that we can walk in the embodiment and reflect the visions that we are actually creating. Okay, so that's the goal. And you can, when we go through the oracle reading, you can start to see how each aspect helps us to build towards that. Ashe? All right. So, yeah, I want to start with the emotional body. So remember that we're focusing on producing the wisdom. So when we look at the archetype in the emotional body, we have the red self-existing moon, which is the fuel. That's what's motivating us to produce that wisdom. So with this archetype, it is showing us through how we flow. So we're going through that assessment. It's like, okay, how am I flowing in using my wisdom to create or to transform my dreams into visions? So, when we connect with our emotion, our energetic or emotional or energy emotion aspect of us, how are you really flowing? Are you operating in a pure type of way? So Okay, so we want to operate in a way that we recognize how to flow more purely in our free will. So if we recognize that, we still operating from a certain mindset that we're holding back. We can even look at that, assess it and recognize how we can what things we can let go of, so that we can reflect our free will. So like, say that your dream is to build a community center, right? But if you're blocked in allowing your free will to flow, it'll make it even more challenge to to create it, right? So just taking that inner look at our within and our emotions and energetic level, we want to remove those blockages so that we can, really get into tapping into our power. And so that brings us to our mental body, which represents the challenge. And so we have the white planetary wind here, that's strengthening our ability to focus on producing that wisdom by breathing. So just like if you have a dream of creating this community center and you recognize some blockages, take a moment to breathe, recognize what challenges that you're having, because that helps us to communicate with spirit. And it should say to communicate with spirit. So when we breathe, we're allowing spirit to come into our body, to move in our through our life force so that we can get that insight. And well, one, it also helps us to operate from a calmer state. And then it also brings in or puts us in a position to be able to operate with more clarity with our wisdom. So if you feel challenged today, just pause, take a moment to breathe, tap in and communicate with the divinity that you embody. Because that's going to also help you to stay present and know how to operate again with that life force energy. And so last but not least, the physical body is what's supporting us and all this inner energy that we're moving around and cultivating inside of us, right? And so it's like this part is really important, because whatever we're experiencing on the inside is how we're going to be perceiving, and it's going to influence what goes on around us. And so with us having the blue planetary hand in this position, it is encouraging us to produce the healing. Now, when it comes to that healing, I want us to not always think that, because if we hear healing, most of the time it sounds like something's broken or we got to fix it, that type of thing. But it's not necessarily something that needs to be fixed. It's just more of like a purification, to remove the blockages so that we can recognize like we've been whole this whole time, right? And so what can help us to do that is to know what we want to accomplish. So again, it goes back to the example that I was using. Like if you know that you want to create a community center, but you got different blockages going on where it's interfering with you using your wisdom, you can take that moment to pause and breathe, connect with your spirit. And then that's what's actually producing that that internal healing, or that cultivating that internal whole state of being, because you already know what you want to accomplish. And so when we move in that knowing, that's actually supporting us in now taking that wisdom, turning it into, taking that knowledge and turning it, hold on, let me slow down. Taking that knowledge, transforming it into wisdom, and then boom, that's our enlightenment. That's what's going to help us to continue to move forward, to command ourselves to stay loyal. And that's what's going to empower us to let go of the things that's not serving us, and turning our dreams into visions and making our visions real, lived, and experienced and shared. I meant to say in shared experiences. And so with that basically concludes our oracle reading for this plasma. I highly encourage you all to come back and listen to the replay, because you may catch on to you may hear some things differently when you hear the replay from today's session again. Okay, so definitely take a moment to do that. And I'm trying to see if it was anything else I wanted to add in, but now I'm gonna keep it moving. Remember, today is a galactic activation portal. Priestess Moot told us the benefits and the power behind that. So I want you all to really tap into it. This plasma And so, with that, I love you all. I shall talk to you in the chat. And so, much love and gratitude to you all. May that you enjoy your creation in every single moment of now. Ashe. All right, so I will pass it back to Priestess Moot, and I'm looking forward to High Priestess my Ots, Gems, and so y'all get ready, put y'all seatbelt on. Passing the mic to you, sis.
Moon goddess, you dropped them gems, honey. Ashe. I know y'all took some notes on that one. Much gratitude to you, Moon Goddess Ambrosia, for coming into and bringing it through real live and in person. Thank you so much, y'all. Give it up for her in the chat. And definitely, I want to say this. Thank you, Brother Akil. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. Like doing it for 178, it just wasn't enough. But I'm just letting you know. Thank you very much for making space, allowing me to step in on your behold. Thank you for everything that you have done for pulling it together and holding it together, like Moon Goddess said. But now we come to that time in our program, you guys. Um, where we have our very own High Priestess Ma'at and Makaru, men to bring us some cosmic knowledge and spiritual wisdom into the space. We're traveling for the summer retreat right now, all right? And definitely it's a journey worth taking. If you're not there yet, I hope to see you there soon. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this mic on because the battery is running low. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. A little bit more.
The high priestess, the mimic who pulled me in. The high priestess, the mimic who pulled me in. It's time we come together to raise our consciousness. Amen. The high priestess, the mimic who pulled me in. Amen. Amen. The high priestess, the mimic who pulled me in. Amen. It's time we come together to raise our consciousness.
All right. Great dawning, great dawning. Am I being heard? All right. I think I am.
Yes, you are. Take it away, High Priestess.
All right. All right. Give thanks, Priestess Moot, my aunt Nefer Habibula, for being our hostess here. And all these beautiful, beautiful slides. They just get more beautifuls and beautifuls, right? I don't know, I'm making up words, but I'm excited as usual. And I give thanks to you for, hey, we getting it in on the road and doing I think we here at the summer solstice. And yes, we just appreciate all of the teamwork. um Also shout out to brother Akil Kid 38, right, who has been dedicated to being the host here for I don't know how long. And we definitely appreciate him. He's taking a little bit of break, but in the chat, I see you, right? So give thanks. Also, shout out to Moon Goddess Ambrosia, the Fifth Force Oracle, for that excellent Oracle reading. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And always a TAF moment going on. So I really appreciate all of you and everyone who has come in this dawning. I know we have some new folks. We shout you out in the chat. So welcome everyone. And let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right. So I want to need help with the slides. Next slide, please. Okay. All right. So We are here, and as you heard, we are here in this uh, space, right? As you learn more and more about this cosmology, right, you realize that these are cycles within cycles within cycles. And so, and there are many different avenues and perspectives in which this information can be applied to our so-called everyday lives, right? And so um, here we're looking at the Zokin, right? And the Zokin is the 1320, right? If you hear that term 1320, and that's the 20 archetypes with the 13 roles or functions, right? That 13 times 20 is 260, which is approximately 9 months. So these are our incarnation cycles. And within that, each one of us, they say each and every plasma, day, earth rotation, whatever you call it, each one of those, whichever one you incarnated in, you are a direct expression of the creator. And so is my perspective that that's our species, right? And that now is we're in this energy, this awakening energy where the tethers are being released because they can no longer hold the creators, source beings, divine entities, goddesses, gods. The tethers are gone. And so now we begin to operate like the rest of nature, naturally, right? Y'all know I always use the example of trees, right? Trees operate as trees. Now, what do the 260 expressions of the creator operate as? Creators. And and so this cosmology and the way that it has been designed. Now, this is a modern translation. Be clear. We're aware, right? We're aware. This is a modern translation. What this modern translation does is allows it's like a what do you call it? What did they used to call those things in programming? A worm in the program. It gets into the program. It works the program from the inside out. But it's really source. It's source code going back in and taking over the program, reminding us from within the program the truth of who we are. And whichever one of these 260 expressions we entered into in this world, we still the creator. This is the 260 faces of the creator, a galactic incarnation cycle, approximately a 9-month cycle. It can't be clearer than that. How long does it take to create a form of the creator? 9 moons, right? And boom, one of us comes out as one of these kin. So when you understand, or you have your kin, you have your signature, oh, that is a insignia of God themselves, of source themselves, a divine entity, cosmic beings themselves. It's significant. It's a see how significant signature, insignia, a sign. You are literally a sign of the creator. And so now as we come together, as we join together in this, what we've been talking about, this mycelium of source tree, the most, right? As they say, the most high, the most divine, right? We come together and we begin to operate in our natural formation as creators on Earth. We have the collaboration of the universe herself, of the Earth herself, or themselves. We are connected. We're intertwined. So we don't need to operate from as if we don't have everything. We're not operating from the bottom up. We're going through, and not even from the top down. We're going through and within. All of these molecules are ours. Every atom, every point of matter those are our matters. Right? So if you do not have your kin number, you might want to holler at one of us, right? And make sure you get your insignia, your significance in this program, your sign as the creator. Mark your spot and learn as much as you can about it and be it, exist in it. And then what we're going to talk about today is learn your influence. Right? All right. Look, y'all got me hyped already. Okay, so let's go. Right. So what you see on this chart is over on the left-hand side. That's the original 1320. Right? You got 20 archetypes in the big circle and 13 roles or functions in the small one. Right? And so it's a wheel that gets turned every single Earth rotation. What you see on the right, the far right side, that's the harmonic module. It is a laid out two-dimensional model of those circles. And so these are the 260 expressions of the creator all laid out. This is all of our signs, our insignias, our significance. If you ever go through a cycle and you just feeling, some kind of way, like, hey, nothing is working out, and I just, I don't seem to, I want to be out here kicking rocks in the rain. Read your signature and realize your significance. Even if you don't understand, don't know, don't have it's not about always knowing things in your waking consciousness, right? Consciousness is always conscious. Always. And there are different types of consciousness: unconscious, subconscious, right? Interdimensional consciousness is still conscious. So all the parts of you, even if you are unaware of them in your waking consciousness, they're always conscious. I call this our unencumbered selves, right? Our unencumbered selves still can, I'll say, do work, even if the conscious self is unaware. It happens every day, right? But what we hear about, we only hear about one level of that consciousness, the subconscious, right? And usually when we're talking about the subconscious, it's always, the subconscious is going to create some stuff for you that you don't want to see, right? Or you have to program your subconscious so that it'll do what you want it to do. Now, I'm not saying those things are untrue. I'm saying that's a one-way perspective to speak about it. And I got my hand raised because that's how I was speaking about it too. Right? But what about that other consciousness, right? That's always out there cheering you on. Like, as they say, the universe that is always, what is it? Conspiring, right? In your favor. That's in my perspective, that's the free will, the free dominion of the will. We're going to talk about this on this today, right? Because a lot of times the free will is described as free reign, like, people just going out and doing crazy things. So, they just in the car, they driving the car while they standing up. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's free reign. You can just do whatever you want to do. But the will is divine. It has a purpose. It has a mission. It's the one that's conspiring because it's influential in its wisdom. Right? Isn't that what we talking about today? Right? There are all kinds of levels of consciousness that are unencumbered. And sometimes we're the ones who put the blockages or the obstacles in front of them. But left alone, we may have a different experience, right? So we don't talk about that. We're going to talk about that. All right. So what you see in the middle, right, is a perspective on how these cycles work, how to I'm gonna say roll through the Zokin as we go into these various cycles of evolution. At the first one, right? That's our new birth, our new paradigm, and we're about to be in that again, right? The second one is exploration of our destiny, right? The third one is attuning our life force. And when we do that, our primary force of life, we pull in everything. It's so powerful. Our significance, our insignias are so powerful that when we go through a tuning process, why? Because we're creators on Earth, because that's our species, because we source, goddesses, gods, whatever you want to call it. We're so significant that we literally have to attune the frequencies of time. We have to go through the past portals and the future portals in the present to start getting our upgrades so that we can go into this fourth cycle that we're in, which is evolving, which is an evolutionary cycle. And so as we start to tune after we have attuned ourselves to that and we go through this evolutionary cycle, right? We're going to complete it out with going through a cycle of purification, preparing ourselves to go to the next level. And it's not it's not a hamster wheel. It's a spiral. Right? And each time we have the opportunity to shift and go into a cycle in a different way. I love what Moon Goddess was talking about in her oracle reading about how to look at things a little differently to remove those obstacles. Right? So let's go to the next slide, please. All right. So this is a closer lens into that fourth cycle of what we're calling evolutionary intelligence. And we began with the red earth wave spell, which is the wave spell of evolution, the wave spell of navigation, the wave spell of synchronicity. From my perspective, if you put all of that together, navigating synchronicity through evolution, right, you get efficiency. This is a simple way to look at it. Evolution as it's efficient, right? There was, first, I don't know, one galaxy, and then now there's a bazillion million, right? There are multiple universes, there are multiple dimensions, and they're more efficient, right? If we think about the uh, approximately 9 months that it takes to form us in the physical, they talk about how it starts, right? The sperm fertilizes the egg, and then what starts to happen is the cells start to multiply because they're becoming more efficient. 2 cells can't do it. 4 cells can't do it. 16 cells can't do it. 32 cells can't do it. You see? And they just keep going and going and going and going. And then it takes approximately 9 moons to create the formation of a creator on earth that is automatically efficient. Because within that, that's not just a physical process, that is a metaphysical process. And any mother that had awareness or any level, it don't even take a whole lot, right? When, as our babies were growing in us, that is a metaphysical process. You're holding 2 souls at one time. And being able to keep all that straight in your head, right? And it's natural, right? It's automatic though. It's not you. It's really. I'm saying it as if it's a challenge, but it's not. When it's you feeling a certain way and the baby feeling a certain way. Am I right? And you can feel the spirit of that creator creating within you. Right? And so evolution is an efficient process. And it has precision. So when that process is done, when we come into this space on earth, all the contracts have already been signed. We already know who we are because we have our significance on the what we are calling our date of birth. And then we match that up with the kin number. That's our significance. That's our insignia. We are the type of creator that is kin 192. And we're going to talk about kin 192. I think we're already talking about kin 192. That's what they do. You know how these yellow humans are, right? They out the gate. They was like, no, wait, don't build it up like you usually do. Just come out the gate with it, right? As I say, the yellows are data finishers, right? They're like, listen, we've been talking about this. I couldn't wait for it to get to 192 so I can influence, right? So yes. So that's that evolutionary cycle that we began that created more efficiency. Right? We are now more efficient because we're going through this evolutionary process. All things have been taken into consideration, even the illusions. Right? And what did we decide? I'll use them. Right? Like Ghostbusters. I ain't scared of no ghosts. Scared of no illusions. I know that's the world that we're in. But we also in a world that we created. Right? Just because things are going haywire at this point, or it seems like it in the world, if you look at it from that perspective. But what that does is that makes you a first responder, right? You're always responding. Instead of standing in the position of who you are, the creator on earth, and in your significance. And if we all begin to realize and to operate and implement our significance, We won't be responding. It's nothing to respond to. It's something to be, something to say, hey, you know what? How can this place be more efficient? And we just start operating in those efficiencies. Certain things will disappear, right? I mentioned this before. Think about, let's just use something very natural, right? As a baby, right? As they go through their stages of development, they become more efficient, right? Now, um, before they could move, they learn how to crawl. So crawling got them around, and it was efficient, right? They don't have to have somebody carry them to get over there to their toy. But when they started to walk, think about it. Do babies go back to crawling when they can walk? No. Next thing they doing, they running, then jumping and skipping and doing cartwheels, and it's more efficient, right? And so when we become more efficient, then we operate in efficiencies. We don't go back to thinking about when we was in trauma, karma, drama. We don't go back to, oh man, I can't have that because, I was in this bad relationship and I was going through emotional abuse. And so they told me I couldn't have it. Or if you were raised like that, somebody, even a parent or someone that was in a guardianship position told you you weren't, you will never do this. You will never be nothing. Right. And sometimes it's very hard when it's a parent. Right. But if you've evolved, you've evolved. You remember that, but you're not going to go back to it because of a condition. The condition is not your situation. It's a condition. Your situation is your significance as a creator on earth. That's always your situation. You don't move from that. It's situation. Sit you action, right? Or Asian, right? Sit in it. Sit you in it. With your significance, with your insignia. Today we're talking about the insignia of 192, the yellow planetary human, right? So as we go through this evolutionary intelligence, right? Once we realize our efficiencies, we're not crawling anymore. We're not even walking. We're running and jumping and flying and doing all kinds of things. We've realized that our navigation, right? The red earth is the navigator, is synchronized with our situation. See, that's what's off. That's why we always trying to do something to get something. The synchronicity, we're not in sync with our natural formation. And all it is it's a mindset. That's all. That's all. It's not something hard. We're not working our way up. We came in like this. Right? It's an alignment thing. We're trying to sync up with a problem. We're trying to sync up with responding to something. We're trying to sync up with what the world is doing. Right? Maybe sync up with being your cosmic expression, right? Who you are, who you came in as, in this world. Sync up with that, right? All right, and then fall in love with it, right? We're going in this. We're refining this navigation with the white dog, where we are literally I call this like the wave spell of my the white dog, measuring of the heart. What are you truly loyal to? Are you loyal to always flipping back to crawling when you've been running, skipping, flipping, and flying because you think that your situation changes? No, you sit in your formation as the creator on earth. That doesn't, now, let me say this. The program of war, of conquering, of defending, of being in deficit has people thinking, has us thinking, our mind, when we say sit in your seat of power or your role, it has us thinking that that means some sort of rulership over somebody else, right? That's a program. Why is it a program? Just again, things that are natural, they're just natural. They can't help to exist as they are. It doesn't mean that we don't have different roles, right? Again, I look at the trees, right? You can say if in the mind that we have been programmed with that there might be a hierarchy amongst trees, but trees, when you really study them without the words, they do what's most efficient for the forest, right? So it's roles and functions. And so, yes, as we come together as this mycelium of source, these mycelium of source trees, there may be roles and functions where somebody says, hey, okay, listen, I'm going to get everybody together. Y'all, everybody come over here and let's do this, whatever. And you do this and you do that and whatever. And does that mean that, everybody is now in servitude? No, that's the role the position that one of us is in at that moment. And it doesn't mean that if you get sent on one of those roles that you don't come back and say, okay, listen, I went over here and I did this thing, but let me tell you, everybody come over here. That's one of the people that got sent. Like, okay, I need everybody to come over here. Listen, when I went over there and I found this, I saw that this, that. And then now, in order for us to be more efficient, I need you to do this and you to do this and you to do that, right? And then it just shifted. So it's not always this all knowing, all being. What if we're all that, right? And then now it's just about what's more efficient, right? So what is our how do we refine evolution, right? Is by measuring, weighing the heart. Where is our loyalty to us as a creator? Where is our loyalty to being efficient in what we came here to be in the first place? That's the refinement of evolution through this white dog wave spell, right? Have we really been loyal to being source on earth, or have we been trying to be source on earth? Vying to be source on earth, studying and meditating and all of that stuff to be source on earth instead of being in the full understanding that we're in the full implementation of it. We are it. We always have been. It's like pretending you can't walk. We go back to crawling and know we can walk and run and fly and jump and all kinds of things. The dampeners are off. It is the space to make a decision about your significance, about your insignia. And this is a way to begin that process, to begin the unraveling, or to keep expanding in it, to be more efficient in it. Right? We are transforming into this night. Our transformation comes through the night wave spell. Right? And as we know, the night is abundance. The night is the dreamer. The night is intuition. And the night puts it in. Right? So if you look at how these wave spells are lined up, right? You have the red earth, which is matrix, which is straight from the core source, the origin of source, comes in and start navigating. This comes in to evolve, navigating and synchronizing evolution. Then there's a process to that going into the heart space. There's a process to that. Are you gonna go back to crawling? Or you gonna always walk? No, I'm always walk. Okay, great. All right. We got it. Then we go into, now we're going to put in abundance. We're going to start updating the Akasha in real time with this more efficient, this synchronized way of us being who we came here to be in the first place. Fully realizing the species that's been told that they're human. And I don't have a problem with that hue, even if it's E on it and all that. I don't have a problem with calling it human. But what is a human? Right? It's kind of it don't really tell you. Let's go to the origin of a human. Right? The books say the image of, and I like to say the image as. Right? So then what species are you? That's not an animal. They say that about no other, no ducks, no bird, not tree, even the trees, not even dolphins. Right? Just human. That's a species. What does it do? Where does it, and if you want to know what does it do, you gotta say, where does it come from? It do the same thing as where it comes from. And so how have we been doing it? Have we been operating? Is it in our, you know what I'm saying? It needs to be activated. The war has dampened those fields, even in consciousness. But if we say, you know what? I am significant. I do have a insignia on this planet. As a matter of fact, we all do. And I think we might operate a little bit like these trees do. Let me find out. Now, some people will take it and say, I'm gonna rule over everybody else with his signature. Good luck, that shit is over. Good luck. Ain't nobody lining up with that no more. It's over. Right? I think we're better off finding out how we operate together. Right? Because everyone, these dampening fields are coming off. And those levels of consciousness that enslave people, they're gone. It doesn't even make sense anymore. Right? And so we're going to finish off this wave spell group of evolutionary intelligence with the warrior wave spell. Right? which is the pathfinder or the journey finder that is fearless in its quest to do what? To finish this off, because it's yellow, right? Red initiates, white refines, blue, black transforms, and yellow finishes. It completes the cycle. The cycle of what? Being as efficient as we possibly can in being the creators on earth and going through that journey through intellect, divine intellect, cosmic intellect, the intellect of the creator of all things. Not in deficit, not at war, not defending, not in fear, and not in conflict. It's unnecessary, right? Let's go to the next slide, please. All right. So as we've been talking, or who's been talking, is Kiin 192, the yellow planetary human, right? Well, we perfect in order to influence, producing wisdom. We seal the process of free will with the planetary tone of manifestation. We are guided by the power of universal fire, and we are galactic activation portals of influence, wisdom, free will. I'm going to say fruition and the power of universal fire enter us. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe-O. Next slide, please. All right. Go back one for me, please. All right. So we're in this wave spell of the blue black night, and we're almost complete here. We're almost finished with this wave spell, and we're going through this cycle, and we started off with the magnetic night that gave us the purpose for the wave spell and say, hey, I'm the night and it's my turn now, my wave spell, right? I'm gonna put in the Akashic records in real time by doing what? I'm gonna unify in order to dream. Dream has roots in joy. When you close your eyes, it's supposed to be joyful, right? I become one with that. Why? I'm the creator on earth. All matter is my matter, right? I'm not in my situation is the situation. Always. I'm sitting in it. In my signature, in my significance, and my insignia, right? And I'm going to put this in real time, right? Attracting the intuition that I came here with. You know, what your mama used to say, you weren't born with the sense or something like that. You know how they had that thing when they say, I forget the thing, but we were born with this sense of who we are, right? I was trying to say a joke, but it didn't work right. Okay, well, I'll come back to it. But you are sitting in that insignia and you are attracting the intuition, right? Sealing in the input of abundance. There's so much more that we can know, be, do, experience, be in joy with, be enlightened and awakened to, right? That's the Akasha. And we can put it in real time, right? We're in transformation, right? With the magnetic tone of purpose, and we got our own power double. And we heard Priestess Moot go through the energies of each of these archetypes, they are all a vibration or a function of putting in the akasha, putting in the intuition of our dream, and that transformation that comes from evolution. And so, where we are on this plasma is on Kin 192, right? Which is a way to say it, as you know, we're learning this in our 13 tone course, right? Our one liners, right? A way to look at Kin 192 is that they perfect abundance. They have the perfect dream, right? They perfect intuition. And then we can go into it a little bit further, right? And so this is where we are. Yeah, the you wasn't born with the good sense God gave you. That's it. All right, thank you, Brother Patrick. Okay, I'm not gonna look at this chat no more. All right, so let's go to this next one. Right, next slide, please. Let's talk about Kim 192. Right. Yes, perfects abundance. How does it do that? We've been talking about it this whole time, right? Because the yellow human is influential AF, right? Y'all heard it right out the gate, right? Soon as the speaking tool began to speak, 192 said, okay, I got it from here, right? We perfect. Perfect, you break down that word, it means to complete, to come to completion perfectly. Perfect completion, right? So we completely, right? It says we perfect in order to influence. We are completely in the flow of abundance, right? It's perfect. Influence means inflow. And if you break it down a little further, right? They said in archaic times, they said you had influence if you were in flow with matter and matters. You knew when things were going to happen in a certain way. That's what they called the sages. You had, what do they call it? Supreme dominion, right? And so we are completely in alignment. What we were just talking about that, right? We talked about being in alignment with your insignia. That's how things sync up. That's how they sync up perfectly and completely. When you are in complete alignment with your insignia. Now, here's the thing. That's not a hard thing. It's natural. It might not be normal because normal is a family, right? We don't know who they are. They found their way into the dictionary and made normal, just like normal, standard, right? We know these family names, right? They paid or did whatever they did to get into the dictionary and change literally the nature of things. So we're not looking for normal, we're looking for natural. It's what we came in as, right? So what is the true nature of the creator on earth? That's our alignment, right? That's how we have our influence, by being in our true nature. It's an automatic flow. Stop believing that your problems, your situations, your circumstances they might be normal, but they ain't natural. right? And your situation is always your insignia. Change your mind about that, right? Producing wisdom, because then now we are in the production of wisdom, of wise dominion, right? If we are completely in the flow of abundance, we produce wise dominion. And dominion means supreme sovereignty of matter and matters. Why? Because you are in your true nature. We're not talking dominance. I know dominance usually means that you are dominate, the way that the war consciousness works. In order for you to be dominant, something has to be subdominant. Something has to be below, beneath. You got to be over something to, feel that you have dominance. To me, actually, I think that's lack, right? Because if all of that stuff goes away, then you're not you. Because you can't be in, you can't have supreme sovereignty unless something is beneath you. And that's not creator on earth, divinity on earth, divine beings. You exist as you are. You exist because you came in as one of the expressions of the creator. And that's always dominant. Dominance is not, if we gotta remove that calculation that says dominance is over something else, that it's a linear thing. It's a hierarchical thing. No, it just means that you remain as you are. You came in as 192, you're 192. You perfect abundance. You can't help it. You know what I'm saying? I can't help it. I'm 192. What do I do? I perfect in order to influence, producing wisdom. I can't help it. It is my insignia as a creator on earth. And if we all operate like that, not comparing and contrasting, every time we get on here, we talk about the one that we're on, the one that we are on, right? And if this happens to be your specialty, then great, be that, right? It's going to strengthen the mycelium of source tree. It's going to strengthen who we are in the cosmos. It's going to start shifting and making this world more efficient, right? Next slide, please. All right. We seal the process of free will, right? So we proceed. Process is a procession, right? We proceed with the flow of free will. Now, remember early on I was talking about free will, right? And that is the thing that is conspiring in our favor. See how that works? Why would you want to step in front of your natural flow, your natural influence, your natural abundance as you are writing it into the Akasha? The will should always be free because it is what produces, or the fruit of who you came here to be, right? If you allow that will to be free of you being kin 192, of you being kin 202, of you being kin 1, kin 2, kin 13, all whatever it is, all of the 260, and you allow the will of those kin to go free, then now you are in the process of those things that work to support that are conspiring for your favor, right? Bringing to fruition abundance. And you determine what that abundance is. I would say don't limit. If you let the will be free, it's not going to just limit it to money, cars, homes, right? Get that too. That's not it's not a don't not have that. This is some of the benefits of being in this world, right? It's fun. And maybe we'll change it. So right now, go ahead, get that. But also let the will be free to change your mind, to shift your consciousness. Remember, we talked about all levels of consciousness, the unencumbered consciousness. That's not asking questions. It's free will. It's unencumbered. Allow it to move things beyond your level of waking consciousness. Right? Allow it to tap you on the shoulder, say, hey, listen, you might not want to think like that. You might not want to be limited to what you can see, feel, hear in your waking consciousness, in your conscious mind. I'm you too. Let me handle this. I'm unencumbered. Until we get in alignment, let the unencumbered part of you do you. We all doing you, right? Trust us. It's us, right? we're all here. This is why I've been saying this for a while. Don't be limited to what you can think of right here, right now, or what you know, what you think or what you don't know. No limitations. Go beyond it. You can feel how you feel. You can even have judgments. Now, I'm going to talk you out of the judgments, but don't be, at least to how to not be judgmental, right? Just decide you're not going to be limited to your judgment. You got it. That's how you feel about this thing, but don't limit yourself to it. This is how the will is free. Because now it's unencumbered. There are no obstacles. It's not in a situation except creation. That's the only situation. Because that's where it comes from. It comes from source. And source always has free dominion because it's a part of all of the molecules. No matter how we judge them, all of the energy fields, all of the thought forms, regardless of the judgment, right? All source. And so we can trust that the free dominion of the will bring forth, right, this abundance. It will bring it into fruition, guided by the power of universal fire. And what's universal fire? The yellow sun. I like the way Moon Goddess was talking about the yellow sun, right? The yellow sun is all about living that enlightened life. It is the enlightened one. It says, listen, and it's a finisher too, right? And, it says, listen, if you just allow this will to be free in your true nature, not your normal nature, the natural one, right? Not normal, natural. We are, if you think about it, if you just take out of the whole 260, right? If you just take Kin 1 and Kin 260, it's telling a story, right? The Kin number 1 says, I unify in order to nurture, attracting being. I seal the input of birth with the magnetic tone of purpose, and I'm guided by my own power double. So, right, it's telling us we come in attracting our being in our true nurture nature, right? And we close it out, right, with transcending life, right? We go into the endure, we endure in order to enlighten, transcending the life. So we keep going level upon level upon level, right? Of enlightenment. That's what we came here for. We didn't come here for pain and suffering. Karma, drama, trauma, problems, situations, predicaments. What about adventures, explorations, journeys? What about being in joy? That's the default, right? And then it's not always compared to sadness and kicking rocks in the rain, and right? All of these things are default. And if you again watch children, it's their defaults until they're convinced otherwise. Somebody do something, a program gets to them. Usually it's school, the program, right? We all know this, right? Another conversation, right? So we're guided by the power of universal fire. So we're guided to this enlightened life. And for this one, this is the yellow planetary sun. That's saying to perfect this life by being in your natural mind, not the normal one. We've been operating in our normal mind because we don't know who they are, who these people, the normals, why they in the dictionary, messing up our neurons, making us think about their family every time we say something is normal, putting us in a hypnotic state of whatever the hell the crazy family of the normals is, right? No, natural, netter. That's the true state of being, right? Next slide, please. All right. So let's look real quickly at this soul circle, right? The yellow human channels death. Now I know you're like, hey, how was you talking about all of that, high priestess? You don't talk about this. We talking about some channeling death, right? Well, we're immortal, right? And when we talk about death, we're not talking about the grim reaper death. We're talking about the world bridger. So how is the will free? It channels all of the worlds. And in order to do that, you got to go beyond death. You have to go, you have to surrender the false self, the normal self. Normal is fake. Natural is the true self. And when you go into that state of deathlessness, the world bridger knows all the worlds and all the opportunities that are natural to our state of being. That's how the will is free. It's unencumbered by normal standards, right? Fake families that's made their way into the dictionary. They don't know nothing about that. That's false self. They say, look, we creators. We came here on earth. It took us 9 months. And here are our insignias. Right? And the will is free in those insignias. How? Right? Because the mental body is the wind, the white wind, the spirit. Right? And that spirit is pure. And it has a speaking tube. We've been using it this whole time. This yellow human ain't stopped talking since I got on here, right? Just keep on talking. Right? This spirit, it's our true nature. It has a speaking tube. And the wind it speaks from the heart. Right? That's the heart line. It's the heart space of our true nature. It's a speaking tube of the creator. And it moves. So the mind, the free will moves by the spirit. This is why I'm saying it's aligned to whichever insignia we came in on. Right? So whatever yours is, the spirit of that is what's the free dominion of the will is going to move in the spirit of that. Not just one of them, right? All of them. Whatever that specialty is, that spirit is going to move into that, like we've been hearing today, right? Then the way that it moves, just said it, right? It's through the emotional body. As we know, that means emotion. So it's going to move through the purification, the pure universal flow. That's the red moon. It's a purifier, or the healer, or like we say, the holer. Right? So that it flows through the purity of the universe of whatever the universe of us all, right? Flow. So whatever your insignia is, this free will moves through the pure flow of that. It don't move wolves as sheep and sheep as wolves, or whatever it is. It's going to move it exactly by what the true nature of our insignia is. That's why we can trust free dominion of the will, because it's natural, right? And then shows up. I want to get up and walk around the room, right? Shows up in the avatar. The blue hand, it shows up accomplished, right? The blue hand is the power of accomplishment. The blue hand is the avatar. It's showing up on earth as us. We just been talking about this as from jump. It shows up in the full accompaniment of source on earth in the avatar. This is how we are operating in this energy, right, of Kiin 192. Right. So I like to ask the question, is your will abundant? I love the slide. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I see we have some questions in the chat. And I want to go back before I close out just to kind of look at some of these questions. Is my spiritual power amplified on my birthday? Absolutely. It's amplified on every day. Well, yes, it is. There's a significance that happens on your birthday and on your galactic return. The galactic return happens every 260 plasmas or Earth rotations. And then on your date of birth, you're going to travel through a particular archetype that's a part of what's called your Earth family. Right. And so you have, and that's kind of like your personal theme for the year. And so each year on your solar return, you have a theme, right? Because these are cycles within cycles. And all of that helps to build your archetype, right? So hopefully that answered that question. All right, let's see. Do we have any more questions? Ooh, that's right. Your birthday is tomorrow. All right. So that's the that's going to be, what's after the, why am I drawing a blank? That's going to be the red spectral Skywalker. Right? Am I right? Right. That's the one we're going to be on tomorrow. Kiin 193. Okay, so you're starting, so for you, that theme is is red, so it's activating something. It's activating, your exploration deeper into your destiny, right? But releasing, right, different levels of wakefulness, right? It's exploring, it's dissolving things, right? And it's right on time based on what we were talking about today, right? These things have been dissolved, so now you can explore and release these levels of wakefulness, right? So that's where we are on this. So happy solar return. Yep. Anything else? Let me see. Any more questions? Let's see if we can get some more in. I was doing my best not to look at the chat while I was reading. Okay. Yeah, come on, Moon Goddess. Ashe, Ashe. Let's see. Any more questions? Yeah, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I love that. I love that, Grace. She said normal is the setting on the dryer. There's nothing normal about being. Come on. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Any more questions before I sign off? All right. Activating our awakening, opening our eyes. I say. All right, so it definitely has been my honor and my pleasure. I had a lot of fun up here. I thank y'all. Definitely, again, if you are in the or nearby the area of Hampton Roads, right? We are in the space. We're here in the resort in Williamsburg. We're having a great time. We're about to start getting together, preparing our meal for this evening, starting out this summer solstice. Summer solstice. I'm getting all the dates mixed up. And if you're here, definitely you come in, drop in for the day. Saturday and Sundays will be at Buckrow Beach. If you want more information, you want to go to the website, melanatedimmortals.com, go to our events page, RSVP. We'll get right back to you, let you know where we are, what we're going to be doing, who we're going to be with. We have a lot of exciting things this year, like a marketplace. That's a big difference in last year. Shout out to Sister Ya, for bringing in these other things that we could add to enhance our womb evolution retreat. We have an elder and a master teacher in I'm going to call it Nubian dance. She's a Nubian belly dance teacher and beyond. And she's going to come down and instruct us in some sacred movements. Camila Karam, she's coming in on Sunday. I think she'll be here on Saturday as well. We have so many things. Definitely come through. Let us know that you're coming. And we love y'all. And we're going to see y'all very soon. All right. I will talk to you soon. Love y'all. Hotep.